collective. Thank you for being here. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. You have a group of people who are triangulating you. This is a group of people who is more like fake smiling in your face but talking trash behind your back. These are people who are like always talking shit about you. These are people who are always like holding grudges over you. They had this secret animosity, this rage towards you. Yeah, secret competition of some kind. Yeah, who these people right now who wanted you torn apart, they are very much scared of you. These are people who are triggered by you. Just your energy alone is triggering for these people. Whoever these people are, they are watching you being successful in whatever it is that you are building for yourself. You may be creating something, you may be building something by yourself, yet you are doing something that they are learning from. Whoever these people are, they are watching you. Like, they are watching you, they are creeping on you. These are people who are having evidence, they are saving evidence. These are people who may have mocked you for something, degraded you for something, wanted you to be looked down for something, demonize something about you. Yeah, whatever it is that they were demonizing about you, mocking you for, how whatever creative or wild imagination you may have presented towards them, and they were like, nah. These people right now, they are viewing you and seeing that people are actually receiving it very much well. These are people who get to realize you found your tribe. These are people who feel like, oh my god, we actually should shoot ourselves in the foot. These are people who want to be part of whatever it is that you are building. These are people who see that whatever you are building is actually of a greater goal. This is something that is beneficial, not just for you and for everyone else. Yeah, right now I see you've dusted off. You no longer want to associate yourself with these people. You no longer want to be part of whatever they are doing. Yeah, these people, they wanted you to walk with shame and guilt, yet you exchanged all that for your own authenticity. You became unapologetic. You started believing more in yourself. Yeah, right now they feel so like they want your forgiveness because they see you are growing. These are people who are so grieving the loss of the connection. They are so grieving the loss of the connection. They wanted to bring any extra responsibilities your way because they always enjoyed seeing you miserable and torn apart. These are people who were actually thriving out of seeing you depressed, thriving out of seeing you living out of scarcity, thriving out of seeing you, being overwhelmed. These are people who are thriving out of seeing you, fucked up. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, right now, these are people who see you are very much dependable. Pretty much, you are somebody who's very much reliable. You are more focused on your stability. You are more focused on things that are actually nurturing you. These are people who just can't believe. They just can't believe how you've grown. They just can't believe how you've brought in this new face for yourself. It's like you are on a rebirth. These are people who just can't believe the turnout you've created for yourself. These people, they regret how they did you. Like, honestly, they grieve how they handled you. They regret how they did you. These people got to realize that they ruined their own lives trying to come for you. Yeah, these are people who get to realize by them getting out of their way, smear campaigning you, recruiting others to come against you. These are people who got to realize by them listening to their ego, you know, wanting to hold on to power at all costs, wanting to win at all costs, actually ruin them. These are people who got to realize they are actually slaves of the system. These are people who are so caught up in the matrix. They are scared of being vulnerable. They are scared of facing themselves. Yeah, I feel these people, they got to realize that about themselves. Yeah, right now, whoever I'm talking to, you may be recovering from their bullshit. Right now, you may be recovering from their bullshit because these are people who are not good for your mental health or your emotional health at all, even your financial health. These are people who are not aiming or intending to do good by you. Yeah, whoever these people are, I feel they cornered you because they were feeling insecure. That's why they continuously projected their bullshit and their nonsense on you. That's why they continuously wanted you to feel inferior. It's because it was like you are actually threatening their insecurities. You being yourself, you being fully confident in who you are, you not being attached to anything, and you living in the moment actually threaten their insecurities. You may have not think it that way. You may have been living your life as normal, thinking you are being yourself. Little did you know that you are actually triggering other people's demons, triggering other people's traumas. Yeah, you gave them a rope to hang themselves. Yeah, pretty much they went along with the story without coming towards you. That's where they fuck themselves up, because if ever they had any assumptions or they were having any suspicions about you, they should have came towards you, have a talk, talk, a heart to heart conversation and hear you out, instead of them defending themselves out of fear, defending themselves out of ego, already wanting you to be on the wrong. Yeah, these people are realizing that they are actually terrified and scared of you. These are people who got to realize, you know what, we are actually having a lot to learn from the collective. Collective actually can teach us a few things. I feel these are people who feel like they can learn a lot from you, collective. Yeah, some of them, they are government officials. You have some of them being government officials. These are people who wanted you screwed up. These are people who wanted you outcasted. These are people who wanted you scapegoated. These are people who wanted you cancelled. Yeah, you didn't betray anyone, but instead you protected your peace. Yeah, just so you should know, collective, don't be hard on yourself and thinking that you did anything wrong. No, you didn't betray anyone. Instead, you were protecting your peace. These are people who were actually coming after you. These are people who were coming for you. They were triggered by your light. Your light was triggering their demons. There was nothing you can do. Them, they actually took the rope and hanged themselves. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Yeah, some of them, they may be government officials. Yeah, they came to the realization that you don't obey their permission or anymore. Pretty much, they lost leverage. These are people who may have thought that you were still gonna wait for their validation for before you go on or go ahead with whatever you wanted to do. But then these people got to realize, no, collective just did it by herself. She managed and she did it. You won, collective, you won. You managed, without them and their support, without them and their stinking support. Pretty much, you did it. You did it. They are holding on to their ego because they are holding on to your energy because their ego won't allow them, because their ego wouldn't allow them to let you go. Right now, it's just that they are holding on to their ego because they just want to be relevant. Yeah, their ego can't allow them to let you go. They just want to be relevant. These are people who loves attention. They love to be seen, yet they are two-faced. They are wearing a mask, they are wearing a facade, they are lying and misleading people. They are lying and misleading people. Yeah, they are about to meet up to discuss their next steps. These are people who are about to meet up and discuss their next steps now. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. They are about to meet up and discuss their next steps about you.